Ego. It's something that everyone has within them, whether they want to admit it or not. And in a lot of ways, it can help you achieve your dreams and give you a lot of opportunities just by your demeanor alone, which is a great thing. But I'm not talking about how you play sports or what you want to do. I'm talking about the lifestyle choices that everyone should make and how they should treat one another with respect. In society, most people are just trying to one up each other, and it's our ego and pride that's mainly controlling us to do it. If you guys do some reflection upon your own life, I'm sure you guys have been dickheads at one point in your life, and who knows, you might be one right now, and that's fine. It's part of the human experience. I've also been one as well, and I will probably continue to be in the future. However, you should try to be as good of a person as possible moving forward. Vinland Saga has really made me reflect on how we should be good people and just humble ourselves more. As humans, we are social creatures. We would rather seek social acceptance than the truth. When you're in a room full of people or just your friend group in general that gives off a certain energy, you're gonna subconsciously have that same energy as well. And if you guys don't believe me, the next time you're in a social space, it could be attending an event, seeing some fireworks, hanging out with your friends, just pause, take a second to think about it. That's why people want more money, they want a better car, they want nicer clothes with brands that a lot of people recognize as expensive, that can give the person more social status. You can even see this with how people post on social media. I'm not really a social media kind of guy, but whenever I do use it, I notice that people post a picture and it's an expensive meal or some luxury item that they have just bought, but they try to pretend that they're not flexing by putting a funny title or caption there. It all just falls under the sin of pride, because you want social status. You want everyone to know that you're balling. There's not much individuality upon humans until we actually develop and grow up, but even then, there's not much of a difference. You see people in their 30s still having insecurity issues a lot of the time, even if they try to hide it. That's why they buy a bunch of expensive shit to get acceptance. I even felt some of this myself before, where I want a nice Ferrari. I still do, but I want it because it looks cool.
Stop the cap.
A lot of people agree that they should just live a more humble life, but when push comes to shove, they really don't. Because a lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not, want acceptance from others because we're social creatures. It mainly comes from an ego-based kind of thing, but I truly believe that there's way more benefit to living a humble life than one where everyone thinks you're the shit. Thorfinn can be that guy. He can be the strongest. He even be a 10-foot tall giant, but he chooses to be a humble human being that lives a simple, good, honest life. He can have all the money, all the fame, the notoriety. He can have everything pretty much, and he even had the backstory for it. You could totally see why a person like him would become like that, and I think him living a simple life is more honorable than him feeding his pride and ego even more. And as people, we should also do the same. I'm not saying for all of us to give up everything and go start farming rice out of the back ass of nowhere, but we should be as humble as much as we can be, because life is very humbling. You can go from literally having everything, all the things that you would want, and could all fall in the next months or years. Pride comes before the fall, and the quote is pretty true. Just look at the king. He had all the leverage over Askeladd. He knew everything about this man, from where he was born, how he grew up, what he ate. He even knew the man's social security number, but he got too prideful and egotistical. He was taunting and saying bad shit to the man who had nothing to lose, and he fell.
You're a fucking idiot.
In real life, if you piss off the wrong person who has nothing to lose, something bad might happen to you as well. But if you're humble and a good person, that energy won't come towards you. With technology nowadays, Instagram, how you can hide your messages, all that stuff. If you do bad shit, life will find a way to come and humble you. And if something bad happens to you, it will affect the people around you. Because with the actions and words that you use, the energy that you direct towards others, I promise you, it will come back right at you. And that's essentially what happened to Thorfinn. The more he became a good normal person, the less and less violent his life has become, and the more nicer it got. Even if you don't care about receiving the same energy back that you put out, you should also consider that it's much nicer to be able to not have to worry about the problems that will come at you with you being a bad person. You can get up and do whatever you want without your past having to really pop up in your head. The scariest scene in the show for me was where the dead bodies that Thorfinn racked up just kept climbing up to them, and it scared him so bad. Dude wet his pants, sweat everywhere, and he can barely breathe. And this can also resemble real life as well. Not to the extent like Thorfinn where you're a serial killer, but I'm sure you guys did some bad stuff in the past and will continue in the future because you're human, that you will remember and regret doing. Just try to minimalize the amount of bad things that you do, or it will come back and bite you some way or another. Unless you're a drama queen who loves feeling all sorts of emotions, who wants to deal with more problems within our own life, that's just a headache. I haven't experienced being famous, being strong, being rich, or just having nice things in general. But the more I live, the more I realize that all these things are just things that hide your insecurities. things. If you're an honest person who works hard at an honest job to make it through the day just like Thorfinn, you're fine. You can be a minimalist and live comfortably. You don't need all these nice things. And don't let my words encourage you from not achieving what you want. I don't know anything about your situation, of course, because you're just a random stranger on the internet to me. But if you want a bigger number, go do it. If you grind out and make a buttload of cash, it's worth it in the end. It could change the trajectory of your family's life, your life, everyone. It could give you a more comfortable life. What, you want to be one of those homeless people who's holding signs on the street? If you think having expensive items and having nice cars are cool to you, more power to you. If you're an attention-seeking dickhead, go right ahead. If you got expectation by important people around you to succeed, you should honestly just do it. But if you're just doing it because you gotta get nicer things to impress people you don't care about, because you don't love yourself enough, it's just sad. And that's honestly why most people are grinding for anyways. And can honestly lead you to a pretty empty path. I know it's cool, it can have people respect you more. If you do bad things, get away with it and talk about it. But being a good person who holds integrity and does the right thing is even harder. Aristotle said that the man who possesses character excellence will tend to do the right thing at the right time and in the right way, which is extremely difficult if you really put it into practice. There will be little things like a time where everyone is laughing at someone and you would have to stop even though you think it's funny. There could be a scenario where your friend or family member and you are driving, but you guys got into a car accident and you're the witness. Even though you telling the truth could ruin your friendship or relationship with your family member, you would still have to do it because it's the right thing to do. You have to do the right thing even though it's very hard for you to do it. And if you're putting in an environment where a group of people is doing bad shit, you're going to have to not do it and stand out from the rest. And that can make you an outcast, which would ruin your relationship. Thorfinn resisting the urge to fight back and doing the right thing is harder than him just dropping those dudes with ease. If you want to be a good person, there are things that you need to resist doing and can be very difficult a lot of the times. I know what I'm saying makes life very boring. Being a good person is being humble and not doing things that can negatively impact another person. And that could be incredibly boring. Doing things that you don't feel like doing can be incredibly boring and draining. You want to do bad shit and it's fine to be stupid. It's fine to make mistakes. Bro, I'm an idiot and I fuck up a lot of times as well. And I will continue to mess up in the future, but we should try to be a little better as a person each day. Now, we all know that we should be content with ourselves and live a simple life, but that can come off as boring. However, with today's age, there's so many things and avenues that you can do to have fun and create meaning within your own life without having to do some heinous shit just to get what you want. You could be watching this video on YouTube right now. You could pick up a skill and work on it. Traveling to different places, looking at new things, smoking that good old kush. There's so many things that you can do to fulfill yourself and build a life for yourself that could be fun. This is not 1,000 years ago where the only thing you can do is farm rice and travel to Antarctica. You can do all these fun things while being a good person and living humbly. I know it takes a lot of effort to be a person with integrity who doesn't lie, holds value within themselves. It's really difficult, but just like Thorfinn, if you slowly try to do it with each day passes, it will make your life a lot more peaceful with less stress. But you know, for some of you dickheads out there that want to cause trouble for yourself, go right ahead. I ain't telling you what to do. But don't think you're gonna be able to get away with the bad actions that you take. It will come back to haunt you. And I know, yes, you the viewer who's watching this right now might think that you're smart, and that's probably true. You're probably really smart, but the smartest of smart still can't answer all the questions upon our existence. There are trillions upon trillions of answers that have not been answered yet in this massive unknown place that we're put in. There's a reason why these old philosophy textbooks and these old ancient philosophers are still very popular even in today's ages. Just like Thorfinn, I don't believe in God or any form of religion. I don't think there's an invisible old man in the sky who's watching us jerk off. I don't think we're gonna be reincarnated into a different animal or a tree either. But there is a quote that I've read before. I also think PewDiePie talked about it in one of his philosophy videos as well. The quote was by Marcus, where he talked about if you live a virtuous life and if there is a God but he doesn't allow you into his kingdom just because of some random belief, then you shouldn't worship him in the first place. And if there isn't a God, which I don't think there is, you still live a virtuous life. So you should just be a good person for insurance purposes. And guys, it really isn't that cool to be a person who flaunts things or do bad shit to bring others down. I know comedy can be subjective, but you know when you're being a terrible person. Just because you're intelligent and you think you can get away with doing bad things doesn't mean that you're wise. Intelligence breeds ignorance, so humble yourself. You can do whatever you want, whatever energy you want to put in this world. It's on you, it's your choice, and you can make mistakes. We're human, it happens. In the beginning, bad things happened to this little guy, but Thorfinn made a choice to be a bad person, betraying actual good people who wants to help him, who wants to get him on the right path. And guess what? The people that surrounded him were all trash people in the end. Literally all of them are trash. If you consciously do bad things and you know you're being a bad person, but you're still doing it, don't be surprised when bad shit comes at you if you decide to be a bad person.